Hi there. Oh, you hear me? Hello. And dzień dobry. Okay, today I will tell you about becoming a good feature owner. My name is Ekaterina Shtirts. Yes. I'm a lead game designer in the Belka games in the new, fresh, just released project, Roger That. I've been working in the game dev industry for 4 years, and I have made more than 30 features so far. And here's a little bit about our company. Raise your hands, please, if you know Belka games. Oh, a lot of people, hello. In case you don't, we are among top 20 game developers in Europe by grossing, and more than 110 million people play our games. And now, let me elaborate about our project. Roger That has hit the global stage in December. Every creator is proud of their work, but we think that you'll fall for our project too. And here's a few reasons why. What's going on with my clicker? Yes. Unique genre mix, merge and expeditions. Engaging story. The charismatic Lotta teaches the clever Roger how to navigate through deep water, keeping him out of hot water. Rapid development. From concept to launch, it only took us a year. Plus, we've even surprised ourselves and our colleagues. Get this, during the gameplay demos, we racked up 9 and 4 wows. And 400, that's amazing. And now, very important question. Could you guess my favorite animal?
No.
Yes, you may think it's a squirrel, but surprised! I'm a huge fan of lemurs, and I try to sneak them into my features whenever I get the chance. I think they bring some extra fun to the game. So, why am I here? Today, I will tell you not only about creation of good features, but also becoming a specialist who will achieve maximum results under any circumstances. Nobody will deny that game designers play an essential role in the game dev industry. That's why there's a word game in the job title. For example, in Belka games, game designer a link or a bridge between team members. Besides delivering their vision to each specialist, they also ensure that their vision is brought to life and has fruitful results. And what do you need to become such a specialist? Of course, you should be passionate about your work and deliver results. As for me, it's not only simply creation of good features, but also becoming a specialist who will keep your team together during the whole process. It includes people working in sync, ensuring future reproduction, learning from situation regardless of that outcome, and of course, never giving up. A GD feature owner, who is that? Game designers, GDs, come in various flavors. For instance, there is an expert game designer, someone who really knows their stuff in a specific area, in balancing, in game economics, or managing live ops events. Then there is an expert systemic game designer. They are the architects of the game systems. They handle combat, movement, dialogues, and fine-tune how all these systems interact with each other and with the player. And now, let's get down to a GD feature owner. This person is like feature producer. To them, feature is a mini project. They develop it with project business goals in mind, forecasting its impact based on existing data and document every step of the way. But that's not all. GDs oversee the feature development at every stage. This way, they act as glue that binds different departments together: art, development, narrative, and more. GDs can easily explain their decisions and understand how to evolve the feature in the future. In essence, a GD feature owner is the jack of all trades on the one hand, but more so, they are seasoned professionals on the other. With strong game design skills, producer mindset, a deep product understanding, and the ability to work effectively within a team. The Roger That project emerged from R&D, where the development pace goes incredibly fast. So it's critically important for us that employees aren't afraid to take on responsibilities. GD feature owners were exactly what we needed, and I happen to be one of them. And now let's talk about the game designer's emotional roller coaster. Just like Geralt of Rivia, a GD feature owner encounters various situations during their work. Their decisions have an impact on themselves, their team, and the project as a whole. Emotionally, it can be quite challenging, sometimes like a roller coaster ride. That's why a GD feature owner is not only good in hard skills, but also has a soft skills, which how to work with people. It's critically important to organize a development team, effectively convey your certain ideas, and justify your decisions. Once you've strapped yourself into your own roller coaster, the key is not to fall off. And now let me tell you some very familiar words and try to remember where you heard them before. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Can you recall? Well, I'll give you a hint. There are the stages of accepting the inevitable. In other words, when someone receives negative news, they go through all these emotions one after another before finally accepting what has happened. This framework is commonly used in psychology, but strangely enough, it fits perfectly into the game designer journey when they become a feature owner, as being a game designer includes the path through all its emotional ups and downs, like a roller coaster. And now let me tell you about every emotion one by one. And the first stage is denial. Have you ever been in denial? Remember the last time when you were truly scared? I do. Right now, giving this presentation to you, more so in English. Oh, so thank you. I must admit, it's intimidating, and I hesitated before accepting the challenge. Often, instead of facing our fears, we try to deny them, hoping they'll vanish. As a feature owner, it's crucial not to fear making decisions, taking calculated risks, and using creativity. Most importantly, you need to understand the rationales behind your choices, because the team's success depends on your decisions. And now, think about the last time you doubted yourself. I had my doubt just a while ago. Imposter syndrome can make us feel anxious about making mistakes, which can hold us back. And to overcome this, here's some suggestions. When you doubt yourself, approach it rationally. Ensure you analyze data, double-check your calculations, and address potential questions from your colleagues. Lean on data, statistics, and references. Remember, making mistakes can be part of learning. Draw inspiration from competitors and other projects. Getting inspired by successful elements from other sources is a natural part of our work. And don't hesitate to seek advice. It's perfectly fine to request opinions from boss, colleagues, and other companies, as we all have moments of unclarity in decision-making. So, moving on. Do you want to talk about anger? Just like you can't learn the language without alphabet, creating a feature with a proper documentation is equally challenging, which, as you know, may lead to some frustration. That's why it's crucial for a GD feature owner to be skilled in writing documents that make every team member to understand their tasks. The quality of feature implementation and the team's overall mood highly depends on how well and clearly you describe the feature and save yourself the trouble. This is especially crucial for the R&D department, where every minute counts. This way, the clear feature description can save your time greatly. You can get additional time for working on features to benefit your project, while poor documentation slows down not only onboarding of newcomers, but the workflow as well. In the world of game development, it's a constant flow of tasks, and it's so incredibly annoying when you have to write comments or clarify details in private messages because they weren't included in the approved documentation. Any extra efforts costs time and energy, and it's set. Plus, I guess you won't like it if your feature is implemented differently from your original idea. So, save yourself and your colleagues from stress. Be respectful by writing everything in detail. And here's how to keep your nerves. Start with the concept that summarizes the essential aspects of the feature. Briefly describe what your feature is about, how it impacts metrics, how it's configured, and its potential interface. A solid concept helps to answer key development questions, why and how. Later, it aids in writing a good document. Don't rush the document. Take time to consider what you want from this feature. Take notes of your key thoughts like interesting ideas, corner cases, or potential feature improvements. Use a clear document structure or template adaptable for different feature types. It's easier to communicate thoughts one by one, and it's convenient for the team. A consistent structure helps everyone to find what they need. Think beyond your feature, consider the whole project. How does your feature fit into the development cycle, and how does it interact with others? This deepens feature planning, streamlines integration, or reduces development and testing time. Documentation may need edits. And yes, you won't get perfect documentation from the first try. And yes, your document may receive edits and comments. Sometimes far from positive. Sometimes you'll cry. Don't let frustration or anger mislead you. Embrace constructive feedback, it's normal. Acknowledge mistakes and improve. With each document, your skill grows. Moving on, stage number 3, bargaining. Are there any game designers in the room? Raise your hands, please, guys. Hello, colleagues. And now, raise your hands if you never rewritten or revised your documents. Yes, it's not possible. Writing documentation is just the tip of the iceberg. The iceberg itself is to discuss documentation with the team and get, of course, get approval. You finish the documentation and handed it over to the team. In an ideal world, no one asks questions and the team starts working with a clear understanding of their tasks. So, unfortunately, things happen differently in reality. Teams start asking questions, suggestions, ideas, adding or challenging decisions. Typically, these include deadlines, bugs, and corner cases no one thought about. And roger that, we combine two genres, merge and expeditions. Nobody had done it before, and it will not surprise you that we made a lot of mistakes along the way. However, we didn't give up, and in the end, we made it happen. If we had fallen into despair because of our mistakes, we would have lost it until the lunch. The main lesson was to believe and not give up. We're all human, and making mistakes is normal. What matters is how you fix them. A feature owner must quickly and diplomatically resolve emerging issues with the team. And here's some recommendations for effective discussions. Always have a couple of arguments up your sleeve to defend your decisions. Rely on data and references. The team may not know what you know, and it's great if you come armed with answers. Listen actively. Try to understand and accept your colleagues' opinion. They may know things you don't, and an outside perspective can highlight gaps in logic or implementation. We cherish our ideas. But our goal is not to realize our vision, but to implement the feature is the best way possible. Be flexible. Changing decisions after the discussion with the team is a normal practice. Once upon a time, when I was just starting my career, I found myself in the real pickle with the documentation. Two teams couldn't agree on something, and I had to rewrite one part of the document over and over, maybe 15 or 20 times. Unfortunately, or luckily, we can't go back in time to see that crazy revision history, but it would be real, believe me. But lesson learned. These days, I make sure to keep a change history section in my every document, and I brush upon my diplomacy skills before every feature discussions. No more Pandora's box for me. Any decision as an experience that makes you better. How you achieve it is secondary. If rewriting the document is necessary, just relax and try to enjoy it. However, remember that there can be a lot of bargaining, but still, the responsibility on the final decision is on you. There is another dangerous extreme to accept edits unquestionably. It creates a risk that the feature will not deliver the desired results. But again, you'll be responsible. The best tactic here is to stay calm and pragmatic in any discussion. So, moving on, it's time to depression. Quick interactive moment. Show me the emotion you feel when you hear backlog. Look at me now, please. I feel something like that. And not just my most brilliant ideas may end up there, but because sometimes you need to grab a big shovel and start digging. In my experience, about 15% of my ideas manage to break through the thick backlog walls and make it to release, which, in the grand scheme of tasks, it's a significant achievement. However, for someone like me who constantly generates ideas and, of course, considers them the most brilliant in the whole universe, the 85% of ideas buried in the backlog feels like a knife stabbed in my tender game designer's heart. I want to show you what my backlog looked like at different points in my career. Sometimes a feature goes to the backlog in the middle of development. Maybe it wasn't included in the roadmap, or worse, it was decided not to develop it at all. This doesn't mean your feature is bad. Perhaps project plans changed, the focus shifted, or priority was given to another feature. But for a game designer, this can be a bitter pill to swallow. And hello, depression. So, welcome to the graveyard of features, a part of the roller coaster of a game designer. If you forget about the frustration, the backlog is an excellent tool to gain experience. And here's how to manage it. Keep a table with ideas for various project features. If something goes to the backlog, mark it in the table. Think about your feature wasn't taken up. Try to refine it at the concept level. So when opportunity arises to introduce it, you've already addressed its weak points. Study references, games, or features. Perhaps that's where you find an understanding of what your idea lacked. But there is a catch. As saying goes, if the horse is dead, dismount. Sometimes it's easier to forget about the features and try to revive it. So try to maintain objectivity and assess prospects realistically. Finally, acceptance. Close your eyes for a moment and try to imagine something personally pleasant. Maybe it's your cat, or maybe it's a morning cup of coffee, or maybe it's selling 1 million copies of your future title. This is how game designers perceive the results of a released feature. It's enjoyable and, at the same time, nerve-wracking. After months of work, we finally get tangible results, something we can see, touch, and evaluate. It's cool, but it's not a reason to stop. The feature released to the public requires analysis, improvements, and reflection. Besides, regardless of the results, it's essential to share the launch results with the team and discuss future plans. So here's a few rules for concluding your exciting journey. Analyze the metrics you have obtained. Good practice is not to update metric dashboards every hour after feature release. But if you're guilty of this, remember, it's too early to draw conclusions until enough players have tested or tasted the feature. Even when the graphs are soaring, don't lose your head over success. Double-check for data errors or balance issues. Sometimes, success turns out to be not due to the feature, but a bug. So be cautious with conclusions. When you're sure all data is accurate, when you're sure all data is accurate, announce the results to the team, and don't forget to thank everyone. And if the results didn't turn out as expected, analyze the mistakes, make an improvement list, and try again. But always remember the rule of a dead horse. So, it's time to sum up. If you want to be the wind, think like the wind. If you want to be a feature owner, think like producer. We've walked through all 5 stages of the emotional roller coaster of game designer. In a nutshell, what do we have? To kill denial, take responsibility for your decisions, and kick imposter syndrome. To avoid anger, write detailed documentation to save your colleagues and yourself from stress. To prevent bargaining, don't forget that you still need to defend your ideas. Arm yourself with arguments, but be ready to listen. To survive depression, remember, something may end up in the backlog, and that's okay. Work on feedback and try again. And to finally have acceptance, analyze results after the release, and whatever they may be, don't forget to thank the team. That's all from me, but there's a small music performance from our lemurs. What's going on again?
Un elefante muy elegante, la trompa muy larga, la trompa gigante.
Oh, I love it.
Muy larga.
Gigante.
Stamp to death if you want.
Hey.
Okay. But that's not all. Now, you have opportunity to win this cutie, squirrel, or Belka. I will tell you the rules. You need to answer just one question. How many lemurs were in my presentation? You need to raise your hands, and can you help me, please, with your answers? How many lemurs? Yeah? 10? Oh my gosh, you're right, on the first try. I congratulate you.
Thank you very much.
And now, finally, that's all from me. Any question?
So, since we're talking about feature owning and emotions and documentation, I wanted to ask you if you have any good tip. Let's say you're feature owner of quite a big feature, you work on that for some time, and only 2 or so weeks left, and you work more than full time. You don't have a spare minute at all, and you're very, very tired, and you know that you have to keep updating stuff that you have in PM, and other stuff that pop out, right, to add to documentation, but you don't give a fuck at this point because you're just exhausted. So what would you do? How to motivate yourself, or is there any other way to deal with it?
Thank you for your question. I think it's something about what you have inside. If you want to do it, I think any situation around crunches, don't having enough time or something like that, it's maybe won't. I forget these words in English. I want to show you. Sorry. It won't maybe affect your creativity, affect your energy or something like that. I think just one, I won't do it. For me, it's working. I try to answer, yes? Yep. If you think about it, don't think about it, yes. I think it's something like what you have inside, really. Yeah. Maybe you can try to calculate potential revenue from this feature. Maybe it will be better.
Yo.
Uh, I'm a lead game designer myself.
Hello, colleague.
Hi. So, a little bit subjective question. Let's imagine you're working on a feature, but the deadlines, etc. You just don't have enough time to develop it properly, and instead you have like a compromise to develop it poorly. Which leads to like completely erasing the point of the feature. Like for example, we had a feature that should do that, and instead you're doing like cut-out feature that will not only not enhance the experience of the players, but worsen the experience of the player, in your opinion. And every book, every game design like theory says about it, and then you release it. You like warned everyone that it's going to be shit. You release it, and it's actually good. Like everyone's responding really well to that. So, in that scenario, are you a good designer or a bad designer, in your opinion? Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you for your question. Always, I try to think about user-friendly experience in games. And when I have a situation when I need to bargain with developers or maybe QA or something like that, I always try to think about players. And second place, I try to think about revenue, of course. And if we need, and if I understand that maybe part of feature won't develop, and I understand where it's not will work, I try to discuss, and I try maybe to a little bit take more time or something like that, because release just for release, I think it's don't work. I don't know, I am bad or I am a good game designer? I think I'm a good game designer, yeah, of course, best.
Hi there, my name is Ed. I am a freelance project manager. And when you were talking about anger, you mentioned a clear structure and using some templates for sharing the information. Yeah. I was just wondering, is there any tools in the market we could use for templates? Is there anything you could recommend, or is it something that we have to come up ourselves?
Templates, thank you, yeah. Templates, I mean, it's like really templates. You need with your hands to make a scheme of your every document. Often the scheme is similar for features, and it helps to really maybe will be speedy in writing the documents. But it's only from your hands and from your mind, without tools or something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
Salim, Phoenician Studios. You said that when you are trying to defend one of your features, you should always come prepared and have the data ready to show it to the team. What if you designed a feature that's pretty original and there's not enough data to justify it? How would you convince the shareholders that it's a good feature and we should work on it?
Okay, thank you for your questions. I think you can try to find the argument why you do this, firstly. Yes, because most of features, it's not affect revenue or metrics, maybe it's just technical features, yep, and it's important too. But I think you need to try to find words to share with the team and to maybe to discuss, or maybe try to say something motivated. But we did it. It was needed for us, and we did it, and we are a great team. Yes, I think.
Okay, just last one question.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
I would want to ask maybe a question related to the first one that you answered. What do you think about delegating the game designer responsibility.
Excuse me, could you repeat?
Delegating.
Delegating.
To
I
delegate, to
understand.
ask someone basically to do something for you. What?
I'm not project manager, and delegating is not is not word what I try to use. But yes, it's a good practice. It's a good practice too. But if you don't want don't have enough strong to do something, it's delegating. It's a good way. Yes, I agree with you.
All right, I think that's for today. I'm pretty sure you can chase Kate after the talk if you have more questions. And thank you so much. And
Thank you. You're a beautiful audience. Thank you.